Hello and welcome to part 4 of the ships of the 13th anniversary. This video we are looking at the Terran Sirius. In this video we'll look at the Vanity shields available in the Dilithium store during certain events of the year and also in the Zen store. As always, chapters are listed in the description down below. So the first shield we're looking at is currently the only shield that's available in the Zen store. And this is the Alliance Vanity shield. It's part of the Khitomer Alliance bundle. In that bundle you get a shield, the Khitomer Alliance uniform and an upgrade. So looking at the shield, we've got that cyan pattern effect here on the main deflector. Same up here on the secondary. We've got touches of gold shading, some dark grey shading as well, and then this white hull. With this style in the cell, the Bessard collectors don't normally show the true colour that we see on other ships with this shield, so in this case we have a touch of orange and a touch of yellow in there. Looking at the rear, you can see this red through orange, yellow and white effect going on the 4 impulse engines. The rear one split because of the third nacelle. Cells themselves have got that cyan colour to them. You can see some of the gold there on the neck, some more of the grey shading. Then we've got this orange plasma effect here at the back of the phaser lance, and that's normally the effect that we'd have on the Bessard collectors. Now, the next bit's going to get a bit bright because with the patch to add in the new Earth space dock on PC, the lighting got very, very bright in the ship customizer, especially on very light hull material such as this one. I have reported this to the devs and raised a bug report for it as well, so they are aware, but at the moment there's bigger bugs they need to work on. So I'm going to rotate through and past where I would normally stop. So looking down, we can see the grey material there on top of the nacelles, and we can see that cyan colour underneath. See some of the gold there, and the grey around the bridge module. These bits of orange are the standard ones for the Terran ships. We've got some of the red lines there as well, part of the shield. And the same there on the underside, more of the red lines, the grey shading, the gold, and as I mentioned earlier, that orange plasma effect on the phaser lance there. Now we come to the first of the Dilithium store vanity shields. This is a very popular one, it's the Baul vanity shield. So we've got this blue effect here on the main deflector, as well as the secondary one at the top, with parts of it greyed out in the hull material. We've got the red there at the Bessard collectors, the standard red lines of Starfleet and the Terran Empire there, which pop really well against this hull material. At the rear we've got this lovely red effect on all the impulse engines there. See that cyan blue again on the nacelles. The cyan there again at the back of the phaser lance, and that's the normal colour we'd have on the Bessard collectors, just with the nacelle model on this ship, same as the Cygnus, it changes. Here we have this etched pattern effect to the hull material. And we see that again there on the underside of the ship. Here we have the Borg vanity shield, so it's the visuals from a liberated Borg, not an assimilated Borg vessel. So on this shield we have this grey hull material that has a mismatched shape of hull plating pattern to it. We can see the blue effect with this design here on the main deflector, and same there on the secondary one. We can see this section around the torpedo bay, so that's an exposed section of hull, so no hull plating. So a conduit look to it with this blue lighting, and then other sections have a similar look with this orangey gold lighting as well. See here the blue inside the Bussard collectors there. At the rear we've got the blue on the 4 impulse engines there. And we've got the blue there that fades off to a grey on the nacelles. See a bit more of that exposed hull area there, around here. Same there at the back. And we've got this blue illumination here on the back of the phaser lance, and a bit more of that exposed area of hull effect going on at the front there. Next up we are looking at the Discovery Vanity shield. So this shield has 2 looks to it. So we have this one for a Federation aligned character, and we'll have a look at the effect that we get on a Klingon aligned character next. This shield, we have this white and blue effect here around the outer edges of the main deflector. Same up here in the secondary with the interior part of the deflector greyed out. We have red here on the Bussard collectors. Back here we have a honeycomb pattern red on the impulse engines. Then we have this blue for the nacelles themselves. See a couple of different shades of the grey hull material with a bit of a pattern effect to it as well. You can see that pattern effect a bit more as we look at the top. And you can see the blue of the nacelles a bit better looking at the top down as well. Same pattern effect there on the underside, and we've got the blue illumination at the back of the phaser lance. So this is how the Discovery Vanity shield looks like on a Klingon character. So we have this yellow and white effect for the deflector arrays with a nice bit of a pattern. The white and yellow just on the inside there of the Bussard collectors. We've got this brown hull material with a lot of different patterns and shapes within it. The back is the yellow and white with this pattern for the impulse engines. And we see this white through to the yellow and orange effect going on the nacelles. So as we look down we get a better idea of the scale of the patterning that's going on. And again that pattern effect for the nacelles themselves. Here on the underside, you can see this red and white pulsating effect at the rear of the phaser lance. So that's normally the Bussard collector effect on this shield. Next up is the Emperor's Vanity shield. So we've got this grey hull material with some purple shading. Got this lovely orange deflector here, and same up there on the secondary. The cyan lighting there on the Bussard collectors. Back with cyan there on the impulse engines. And a touch of that purple shading as well. Got the yellow effect there for the nacelles. Down we've got some more of that purple material. You can see a bit better there for the back as well. Now, you may or may not be able to make this out, but throughout this hull material we have these blue illuminated dots. So due to the lighting changes on the ship customizer, it's not as clear as it normally is. But if you have looked back on some of the previous videos that I've done, you'll see that effect more so. In fact, I've just seen that yellow illumination there on the back of the phaser lens. Here we have the Ferengi Vanity shield. So we have the orange hull material that we see on the Ferengi vessels in the shows. We've got this deep yellow honeycomb pattern to the deflector arrays here, and the secondary one surrounded by this grey shading, similar to the front part here. And we have the deep yellow effect going on the Bassard collectors there. Touches of gold as well. The darker yellow again there on the impulse engines. More of the grey and the gold there. And then this lighter yellow for the nacelles. And you might be able to make out some of the rivet details on the hull material as well. Unfortunately, it's got this black line to it, which isn't part of the shield. It's a issue with the way that the shield's been mapped onto this particular model. Looking down, we've got some more of the gold shading there. There's that rivet effect that I mentioned. And then more of the grey around the phaser arrays there. And we're the same there on the underside. Here we have the Hur'q Vanity shield. So I've got this pale green shading for the main hull. We've got some purple shading there as well. Then we have this illuminated green material throughout parts of the hull also. That pattern green there on the deflectors. Green there on the inside of the Bassard collectors. Got a green pattern design there for the impulse engines. Also the green there for the nacelles themselves. Then we've got this black and grey pattern effect throughout the hull material also. You can see it quite a bit here following the phaser arrays and round the outer edge of the saucer also. Same again there on the underside. And then we have the green there at the back of the phaser lens. This is the Kelvin Divergence Vanity shield. So similar to the Discovery one, it does change its appearance between Federation aligned and Klingon aligned, and we will have a look at the Klingon one next. So for the Federation one, we have this orangey effect going on the inside of the Bassard collectors, with this blue pattern that's reminiscent of the deflector array from the Enterprise in the reboot films. Same effect there on the secondary one. We have a orange and yellow pattern effect for the impulse engines. And with this dull blue into a white look going on the nacelles. And this light grey hull material with some pattern effects and a couple of different shades. Now, with this being a light hull material, it's time for the Beacon of Chaos. Again, there we can start to see some of the white and the blue there on the nacelles. You can see that pattern to the hull material with the different shades of grey to it. Same there on the underside. And you'll see the backlights of the phase lens are greyed out, so that's the terrible effect that's normally on the Bassard collectors with this shield. It's just been applied here, so thankfully it's not something we see too much when we're flying the ship. And this is the Kelvin Divergence Vanity Shield on a KDF aligned character. So we've got a few tones of green for the hull material, got this lovely red effect for the deflector arrays, got red there for the Bussard collectors. Now normally they would be yellow on most ships. At the rear here we've got this red honeycomb pattern for the impulse engines. Then we've got this dull blue pattern effect going on the nacelles here. Fortunately we've got that black line back again that shouldn't be there. You see it's not on this side. You see that pattern effect there for the nacelles. See the various shades of green being applied to the hull material. Then we have this illuminated yellow effects going on in parts of the ship as well. Same again there on the underside, and there's that yellow that's normally the Bussard collector being applied here to the rear of the phaser lance. Another popular shield in the game is the Section 31 Vanity Shield. So I have this nice blue effect here on the deflector arrays. We have this red pattern here to the Bussard collectors. Now normally the Bussard collectors would be blacked out on this shield, but because of this model they're illuminated red. The back will quite a vibrant honeycomb red pattern to the impulse engines. That cyan for the nacelles. Again, that black line shouldn't be there. A couple of different shades to the hull material, and you can see from here that the phaser lance is actually blacked out on this one here. And as we look down from the top, you can see the different shades to the hull material. And you can see the red lines going round the phaser strips in this one. And we're the same there on the underside. We move on to the Tzenkethi Vanity Shield. Now we've got this green hull material with this carved pattern to it. We also have some black shading on the hull material and some grey as well. This lovely orange deflector arrays here. There's some more of that black shading. Touch of the black there with the grey inside the Bussard collectors with the white lighting as well. You'll notice here at the front that we have this hull material pattern that's lights, and you can see them pulsating away at certain points. As we look from the back, we have white there for the impulse engines, more of the black shading, and again more of that illuminated pulsating light hull material. White there for the nacelles. Again, you can see more of that carved pattern to the hull material here. There's that pulsating white effect going round the outer part of the saucer section on the lower side. And then we have the white there for the phaser lance rear and the black that we've seen from the front. Now we come to the last shield that's currently in the Dilithium store. I say currently because at the end of 2024 the devs hinted that we'd be getting more shields in the Dilithium store in 2025, so looking forward to that. So this is the Zhat Vash Vanity Shield. So with this lovely green effect going on with the two deflectors there. We have this olive and fawn or sandy colour for the hull material, with the red round the input side of the Bussard collectors. At the back again we've got the red there for the impulse engines. And we've got this bright green and white effect for the nacelle colour. You also see touches of grey there as well. So looking down puts me in mind of an army camouflage with these colours and the pattern that's been applied. And the same there on the underside, and there's more of that bright green lighting at the back of the phaser lance. And that concludes a look at the Sirius. As you would have seen if you've looked at the Cygnus video that I did for as part of the 12th anniversary ships, they are practically identical. Main differences being the additional weapons ports on the top of the saucer, and oh yeah, that third nacelle. But I hope you enjoyed it nonetheless. In the description down below, you'll find a link there for my Real Merch affiliate, which will give you 10% off your orders at Real Merch. Also find a link for the STO wiki, which is a good resource for all things Star Trek Online related. The main Star Trek Online news blog is there as well, for information on patches, events and so forth. My social media is in there, and also a link to Casual Sab's YouTube. Extremely knowledgeable individual. He does build videos, Q&As, live streams and reviews of the latest things in the game. So well worth a check out. But as always, until the next video, thanks again for watching.